to Comedy Cellar Nightly. Exciting evening. I can honestly, this is very, very exciting. I see the cast of characters, great, amazing, funny comics we have here. I'm Michael Somerville, your host, which simply means I get to say hello and then introduce all the wonderful comedians. So let's go around and say hi and let us know where you are in the world. Emma WIllman is here.
Hey, Michael. Hey, guys. Emma WIllman, and I'm in New York, and I just flew in last night.
Sounds like the beginning of a bit. Okay.
That's the end of it. I haven't worked it out past that. I'm in New York, and I took a red eye in last night. You're right.
We're working on the punchline. Okay.
Yeah, as always. Yeah.
Marcus Monroe.
Yes. How you doing, everybody? Also in New York, according to the paperwork I filled out at my doctor's office recently, I've been here for a while and have not gone out of the city.
Mm-hmm. And a nice little venue you have there, Marcus. Is that?
I got really lucky. I mean, I have a really small backyard. I'm on the Upper East Side, and I got blessed with some outdoor space, which really came in handy a couple months ago when everyone was staying inside, and I could get some fresh air. So it was cool. And I'm growing some pumpkins back here too.
Fabulous. And is there indoor space as well, or is that this is all you have, or
very little?
Yeah, right.
And Rafi Bastos coming to us from.
What's up, Michael? I'm in Brazil right now. I'm in São Paulo.
My goodness gracious. Okay, excellent. Now, what is it? I'm going to be an idiot right now. What time is it there? If we're 8:30 in New York City.
It's 9:30 here. We are actually almost in the same line if you think about it.
Pretty much. That's okay, but it's just nicer weather.
It is actually pretty hot in here. Yeah, it is. But I'm here with let me show you my dog.
I think it's National Dog Day, right? Is that today?
Oh my God.
Yes.
What's your dog's name?
Dercy. This is the Brazilian name. It's. I had to change my name.
To move our faces.
Yeah. I had to change my name in English. My name is not Rafi. This is something I created for you guys to be able to speak, because my name is actually Rafi. Yeah, my name is actually Rafinha.
I feel lied to.
There's an N and H. So I'm Rafi for people in America
Rafinha.
To be able to say Rafinha.
I can say that.
It's nya at the end.
I struggled with Rafi, so thank you.
Rafi's perfect. Rafi's perfect. Don't worry. Don't even worry. You can call me Marcos if you want to.
Yeah, and you can call me Rafi.
Perfect.
If we choke, you'll be the guy in Brazil right now. Well, that's how I'll refer to you. Now, tell us, I'd love for everyone to hear, because there was an article just today, I think it was, in the Wall Street Journal about how comics are having trouble creating. Lewis Black, Jim Gaffigan, a lot of comics are saying, I can't write. I've got all this time, and I can't get on stage. And if I'm not on stage, I can't create. Not something I actually related to. I felt like I'm trying to be fairly creative in this pandemic. How are you guys all doing?
That's great to hear you're struggling too.
Are you creating to stand up, actually, Michael, to go up on stage, or creating like series or sketches or something?
I'd say all of the above. I am creating stand-up. Now, whether or not it's good stand-up, it remains to be seen when we truly get in front of a live crowd. But because of these Zoom shows, I have been putting together material, little bits we could all relate to. Hey, what's the deal with going outside the masks? Whether or not it's going to sustain beyond, I don't know. But I felt fairly creative, because for the first time in my entire career, the entire world is going through the same thing. Right. At least for a while we were. But I don't know. How about you?
Also, Michael, is it from the Zoom shows, or is it a mix of you sitting down, writing, and then doing it in the Zoom shows? Or if you weren't doing the Zoom shows, could you create that material, and how?
Well, I would say both ways. I've been trying to tweet and post something and see what kind of response it gets. And if it gets a nice, everyone's like, yeah, okay, at least people agree with it. And then I'll put together 5 or 10 for a Zoom show and run through it. And yeah, I'm used to silence, so if I'm not getting laughs, it doesn't bother me. But as I say, who knows? None of it's the same as standing on a stage and really finding something. So I don't know. Have you, Emma? Have you written a bunch of stuff?
I've written a few things, and I had been doing Zoom shows too. I haven't written. I usually am from watching comedy or just being that environment, then that's when I'll start writing.
Right.
Or if I'm listening to a set, which I'm not as good about as I should be, then I'll kind of start writing from that. But the Zoom shows haven't had that effect where afterwards, even there was one Saturday a little while ago where I had a Zoom show with the Comedy Studio in Boston, and I remember it was really fun, and I was really like jazzed up. But it didn't make me then start writing. But I have been doing some writing, but it's just been like what I did want to do. I was like, ooh, I want to do another show. Like I felt that addict-y thing, which I haven't felt since we've been in quarantine. Where I was like, ooh, because it was done at like 9, and then I was like, oh, what's next?
Now what? Right.
But
I'm in my apartment. Never mind.
Right, exactly. I just kind of like paced around and then went to bed. But I have been writing a little bit, and we'll see. I'm worried about memorizing it because it's been interesting. That's like a very new. I even got some like joke books, and I've been like rereading those. So I've been trying, but not a ton. I've been writing a script.
Okay,
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, definitely. Is it based on anything that's going on right now, or is it unrelated?
It's these 4 comedians that are on Zoom doing the no, it's something I've been trying.
In Brazil.
Yeah, I'm writing it right now. Just kidding. It's an idea I've been working on forever, and then I had got it pretty much done, and then I got some notes on it that were basically like change the entire engine. They're like, there's just one thing that you should change, and that thing is the entire tension point for the whole show. So then I've been trying to rewrite that.
It's crazy, Michael, because my process, like English is not my first language. So my process on writing in English is a little different than I do in my language, which is Portuguese. So my process was always writing a lot and memorizing everything to look fresh on stage. Because, I can't just fucking jazzing on stage and trying new things. Like I have to know exactly what I'm going to say. Yeah. So it's kind of different in my language. So if I'm really memorized in English, I can play with silences and fucking like breathing. That's when look fresh. It's not like in Portuguese that if I'm really memorized, it looks a little stiff. In English, it's a little different. So I actually write a lot, and then I have to memorize the whole thing. So the process while we are living the pandemic didn't change that much for me. So I'm still with the same process. Like going on stage in America, in New York, it's more like it's not much as like a test. Like I was passed at the Cellar like 1 year ago. So I was doing the material that I know that work. I'm still like putting myself out there in a club that I really, I was dreaming on being for a long time. So I wasn't testing that much. I was testing in different clubs and everything else. And I was memorizing a lot at home. So I'm still doing the same thing. I don't think it changed that much because the process now is a little different. I'm pretty sure that in 2 years it's going to be a little different. But now I created a lot. And there's one thing that I'm really excited about, which is I don't think there's never going to be I'm Latino, so there's never going to be a Brown Lives Matter because, there's so many legal people. We don't want to matter. The worst thing for us is matter. So I wrote like 5 or 6 minutes of this. I'm excited to go on stage to test the whole thing, that I created this whole theory. And it's crazy because I don't have the subject. Maybe when we are back, the subject will be old. That's what I'm more concerned about.
How do you decide what you're going to memorize? Like, will you memorize something and then you go try it on stage and say it doesn't work a couple times? Or you're like, fuck, I wish I hadn't memorized that. Or do you memorize it as well as you can and then do it on stage? And then based on how that works, then you're like, okay, now
I memorized the whole thing.
Wow.
So that's like the commas and the phrases and the exclamation points and everything else. The way I write for myself. So I write already in the way that I speak.
Right.
But I have to be really memorized and test. And then in those 6 minutes that I memorize, I see what works and where I can like change a little bit and go to this side. Oh, this joke that I didn't see was that funny. It is. So maybe I kind of push a little bit in that side. So that's how I do it. It's kind of crazy.
Do you write in both languages?
I do. For the past 6 months, I'm already, I feel that 6 months before the pandemic starts, I felt that I was already thinking in English and then writing in English, because my first process was writing in Portuguese.
Right.
And which is the language that us and another 2 countries in the world speak.
Right.
And then I'm memorizing English and then test it on stage. But now I feel that my girlfriend speaks English, so I'm already thinking and dreaming in English. That's when you start to dream in English. That's when you're really like feeling. That's when you feel that you're like already inside, really dominating the language.
Comfortable with the language.
Comfortable,
sure,
yes.
I'm still waiting for that day. How about Marcus Monroe? Are you being productive?
I mean, a little bit. Depends. Not really. I'm not like I'm not memorizing in a different language material. Like I'm not being that productive. But I'm thinking of podcast ideas. Okay. And I've played some shows, some outdoor shows, and I played one club. And going back to the writing thing, I think I tend to write under pressure. If I have a club date coming up or something, I'll tend to write some jokes specifically for that club. And like I'll text you, Michael. Is this funny? And so I think that like if there's no shows coming up, I really don't. I'm kind of lazy with my writing.
You just did North Dakota for a little bit of time though, right? Live shows in North Dakota.
Yeah, it's crazy. I played this small town called Medora for 2.5 weeks, but it was 1,500 people a night in an outdoor amphitheater.
Socially distanced or?
Yeah, I mean North Dakota.
And it was outside?
It was outside. It was outside in this amphitheater that usually sits 3,000 people a night.
Oh, that's cool.
But they cut it in half, so 1,500, and I would just do 9 shows a week, and it was great.
I've never been there to North Dakota. I mean, I've been a lot of. Yeah.
I would never have gone there too if it wasn't for that they booked me to do these shows.
Right.
And I would go back again because not only was performing like a breath of fresh air, but it was literally fresh air all around. And Theodore Roosevelt National Park is there, and there's tons of wild horses. So my wife and I went out there and took photos and saw some wildlife. It was really nice.
It sounds really nice. Something tells me like it seats 3,000, but 1,500 for so. I think I'm going to be using that for 10 years. Like
for sure.
Like social distancing.
For sure.
6 people.
Yeah. Right.
Totally.
Totally. 100. I did the indoor shows in Kansas City when I was. I guess it was like 3 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more, but it was socially distanced. But that was inside, which was interesting.
Was it a club, Emma?
Yeah, it's called the Comedy Club of Kansas City, and I had done it about a year before, and that was kind of trippy because I just remember being there the year before, and the same routine, the same person picked me up, and then we talked, but it was like, but everything was different. Mm-hmm. So that was.
With the audience, were they wearing masks?
Yeah, they have to wear a mask, and then when they're at the table, they take the mask off.
Okay.
I did a college last week in Nebraska, and it was a university in Nebraska. It was inside, but every chair was 6 feet apart, but everyone in the audience wore a mask, and they had me wear a mask too. That was tough because I didn't understand how many of my jokes I rely on my facial expressions to sell them. And I was like, and so I told the audience, if I don't know if you're having fun, so just start blinking if you're laughing at the joke so I can at least feel good about myself.
Do you think they laugh a little less because of the mask?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah.
For sure.
I'm gonna go with yes.
Yeah,
definitely.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, it's a crazy thing though to think about. Can you even get heard? Can you even get seen? It's a wild thing to even consider. I mean,
having your mask on for you, that I think would be really tough.
Yeah.
Like I would have a really hard. That would be very tough. It'd be interesting to try, but that I think would be really tough.
Yeah.
Well, if you bomb, nobody know it's you, so it's okay.
The unknown comic, right?
Right.
That wasn't me. Just use another. Test some new shit and use another name.
Right.
Well, here in New York City, we've been having these park shows too. Some of the clubs are just doing in Central Park. People are you go with comics, no mic, no nothing, just standing on the grass. And
I have a question about that. How loud are people yelling? Because I did a show in a park before. This was like years ago, and it was a benefit thing, and I had a mic, but I still remember that, and they had like speakers set up like around the back. It was like a whole production. And it's tough because the sound escapes, obviously. But I just would think if I didn't have a mic, I'd be really projecting, and then I'd feel really like nuts.
I haven't done one. I don't know. Has anyone else?
I haven't done one.
I'd seen the videos of Mark Norman, and he seemed like he was chatting. They were fairly
Yeah.
close together, but he didn't. But to your point, I mean, you see like a crazy person in the park screaming, and you only have to get 20 yards from him before he's no longer an issue. So
Right.
I don't know how much you have to project. Yeah.
Have any of you guys done? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rafi.
No. Go, Mark.
I was just going to ask if anyone's even done the rooftop shows yet.
No
Nope.
shows at all. No
Is
shows
Brazil
at all.
totally shut? It's still totally shut down.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We are the second country with the most number of cases and deaths now. So we are like, people are dying a lot. People are dying, so people are scared. It's kind of crazy. I used to own a comedy club here.
Right.
Yeah, with 300 people, and we shut down for good during the pandemic.
Damn.
Oh,
We
man,
had
I'm
to.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, we had to fire like 20 people. It was a mess. But that's, a lot of people are spending a lot of money during the pandemic.
Right.
Your government kind of helps small businesses and everything, but here it's like you have to be on your own. So it's getting crazy. And I had to go back. So I'm paying rent in New York.
Oh,
My rent's fucking expensive and I can't go back. So all my stuff is in my apartment, and your government shut down borders and consulates. That's how high your self-esteem as a country is. Like you have the most number of cases and deaths,
right.
but you think you're still better
Yeah.
than me.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But
We could sublet your apartment for you if you want to send the keys.
I want it, bro. That's the thing, Michael. I want it. I'm spending my rent in New York is $4,500.
4,500?
4,500.
Do you own a building? Are you renting a building?
No. I'm living with my girl, and she has some money. We decided to get a good apartment in Manhattan to live the whole New York experience, at least for a year, and then we choose to go Brooklyn or maybe Jersey. Just for 1 year. We had a little money, so we decided to do 1 year rent. But it was, the thing is, half of the rent was with us outside of the apartment. So we kind of felt. And the thing that I want to ask you guys, I don't know, because you guys are all in New York, so it doesn't make a difference for you. But do you know anyone that is outside of their apartment? Were they able to do some kind of arrangement with? I'm asking some legal advices here.
Well, I wouldn't know if I was Airbnb because I was in LA and then I was Airbnb-ing my place in New York out. So the reason I'm back is because my lease ends September 16th and the sublease people left. So I was Airbnb-ing it out and it was a headache. I lowered the price to get people in here. And the lower the price would go, the more people you would think the higher the price, so like the more people would complain because they'd be expecting more. The lower the price, the more complaints. And you have to like be really organized. You got check in, check out. I thought someone stole my remote, but then I realized it was someone else because I got confused about the check-in day. And then this guy was like screaming at me, justifiably so. So it's like it was a headache.
Was it worth it because of the money you got? Or?
At first it was, but then when I did the remote thing, it wasn't. This guy was pissed because I was like, you took the remote's missing, and he was like, you're lying, and I was like, you're lying, and then he was like, well, I checked out on Tuesday. That was like 2 weeks ago. Why wouldn't it even occur to you that someone? And I was like, oh, you checked out 2 weeks ago, and then I looked at my thing and was like, oh. And that sucked. He was calling me constantly because he was like, you tanked my rating. Like, what's your problem? There was like, what are you? I was like adamant about it. He was like, you're the cleaning lady's lying. I'm like, no, I believe her. You're lying.
Emma, I think we found your sitcom.
I mean, it's just it's a headache, and then you're like messing with people's lives if you don't do it right. But it does help pay for it. But I don't know if you can you won't be able to make money on it now, probably.
Well, just to stop some of the bleeding, right, Rafi? How long does your lease go?
Yeah, it's gonna end at the end of September, exactly in the moment that I'm going back to New York. So,
and your stuff is still in the place.
It's still in the place.
Maybe they'll work something out with you.
I would love to
put lower it or something.
Yeah, what he's doing is like he's postponing the payments, which doesn't make any difference for me. So I'll have to pay anyway. So I'm owning $9,000 now.
I think now's the time to renegotiate, though, too, because no one seems to really be moving into the city.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe you have an upper hand.
And New York unemployment is at like, what is it, like 14% or something?
Yeah.
Like one of the highest.
Yeah.
But let me ask you guys something. I'm following the numbers and everything else. It looks like New York it's gone. Like you guys have like 300 cases per day and like 10 deaths. Why business didn't open yet, like clubs and everything else? Because if you have like 400 cases a day in the whole state, I'm not even talking about Manhattan. I'm talking about the whole state. Why is this? Does people want to be still shut down right now or not?
No, I don't think anyone wants to be shut down. I think that they're playing it safe because they don't want us to open up, relax, let our guard down, then see a spike. And then I know Sunset Park in Brooklyn a week ago had a really big spike in numbers. So my wife is a contact tracer, so it's her job to call people who've been in close contact with COVID or people who have COVID to provide them with resources. And we were actually in North Dakota. She had to fly home because she had because of the spike. And
why did it spike there?
Because it was a larger, I want to say, Asian community, and they were doing gatherings of like 120 people or something, and for some reason it spread, and it spreads really quick.
Marcus,
and if you're
starting that rumor right here, right now, it's the Asians.
Yes,
I should ask, but I'm 80% sure that's what it was.
Yeah.
I think this is living on YouTube.
No
I'm
matter what,
sure
stick to it. Stick to what you said. That's what you heard. You didn't come up with it.
Yeah, I mean, I heard, that's what I heard. So
right.
I saw an Asian guy, so probably, I don't know.
That was it.
I think, I don't know. But whatever it was, it was a gathering of people, and for whatever reason, it just spiked really quickly. And I think 80% or 60%. See, here I am making shit up again. But I think the asymptomatic people, they spread it really. They don't know they have it, and they spread it to people, and then they can, even though they're asymptomatic, they can spread it to other people, and they can have the symptoms. So I think that's how it starts.
Asymptomatic.
Take that back, Somerville.
I hope your wife is better at contact tracing than you are at stats, man.
I think the
60%.
The most surprising thing about Marcus' story is the fact that there's parties in North Dakota. That's what's surprising. Sir.
Have you been there before?
Dakota, guys, okay? Big. No, I had never been there. I did South Dakota.
I never. Michael, there was something that when we first met that my girlfriend at the time made an observation, and I'm just thinking of it now, and you guys might get a kick out of this. So I was at the Cellar, and it was like it was downstairs, in the waiting area, and like with the security, and I think I was on after you, and you went on, and you had a great set, and then you were like, the crowd was really good. Yeah. So afterwards, she goes,
I remember that night.
Yeah. She goes, you comedians never set themselves up to feel good. And I was like, why would you say that? And she was like, he just had a really great set, and he said the crowd was good. She goes, but if there's anything wrong, then you fucked up. Yeah. She goes, so when do you guys ever get to be happy with your set? And I was like, what? Like, I was like, it was, I couldn't quite. But she got that from, she was like, why did he say the crowd was good? Why did he say that? He didn't give himself any credit. She was like, I thought he did great. And I was like, it's not how it works. Yeah. But it was interesting, and that stuck with me after that observation.
Yeah. I remember you mentioned that to me.
And did I? Yeah, really?
Yeah. And I quickly just dismissed it from my entire world. Like, I can't even start to consider that.
Right. So. I couldn't either. She was a therapist, too, and it was really, torpedoed my brain.
Do you have her number?
How is that being with a therapist?
It was a little tough.
Interesting?
It was interesting. She was a great processor, but it was, especially me at the time, I was, drinking a lot. It was kind of
Would she get into, therapist mode when you guys would have conversations?
She would ask me how I felt
Stop
a lot.
It!
Kinda. She'd ask me, and she was always trying to get me to see a therapist. So I started seeing a therapist from being with the therapist.
Was it a friend of hers?
No.
That's good.
But we did. This was funny. We went to couples therapy, and she got access to this therapist that only therapists get to see, and it was the best therapist I've ever even the therapy from that couples therapist was so good. I wanted to keep the relationship going to see that couples therapist, but only therapists got access to this magical therapist.
My God, it's like the Wizard of
Oh,
Oz.
she was so smart.
Therapist for therapists.
Yeah.
So that therapist was like actually exposing how shitty the other ones were. Right? So that person, that's why the
right. I didn't think of it like that.
therapist has access to them.
Right.
Otherwise, they would look bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
True.
master.
I never thought of that. But she was like so good. So we went to a therapist and I've never done couples therapy before or after that.
How it is couples therapy? I almost did couple. Is it good?
It was so helpful, and they were so considerate to not make me feel dumb, which I appreciated, because it was like, two therapists, so they were trying really hard not to use like any lingo, or maybe they just thought I was stupid. Maybe that wasn't why they were doing that, but they were and she was like it was really good, because they'll be like if me and you were the couple, then they'd be like, well, Rafi, what I think I meant was da-da-da, and they get to, and she didn't pick sides, because I was like, oh no, they're just going to gang up on me. There wasn't any of that.
Okay.
Which I appreciated.
Do you, you're the girl that you were woman dating at the time, do you remember like which jokes of my set she really liked the most?
Oh my God.
I don't remember, but she thought you were very hard on yourself. And she was so genuinely like, why would he not take the credit for that?
I'm just kidding you. Well, I have my first live show coming up in about 3 weeks, and I am just like you were saying. I think I'm practicing, just like Rafi was saying. I'm genuinely terrified. I have not gone in 20 years this long without being on stage in my life. And when I do a Zoom show, I have cheat notes here.
Right.
I could read it if I wanted to. And now I have like a legit 45 minutes to do. And I don't know the new stuff or the old stuff. Anyone else terrified?
Where is going to be your show, Michael?
It's an outdoor show in New Jersey, southern New Jersey. It's a fundraiser too, which makes me feel for some reason less pressure to be good, because they're not paying me that well. But yeah, it's an outdoor show.
Are you driving
outdoors.
out there?
That's the plan. Yeah.
Outdoors a
Cool,
little
I want to
tougher.
go with you.
Do you want? Oh, Marcus, you want to come perform?
No, I mean I would, sure, but I just want to watch you do the set.
I would love to see comedians I don't mean it in like a mean way at all. Like, I would be so sincerely interested, because when I did the Kansas City shows, the first Thursday night, which was 45 minutes, felt really comfortable, and then Friday and Saturday shows, there were certain things right when it would get to the 30-minute mark I would really be like, what? I felt lost.
What were you doing? New, old? What were you doing?
I was I did the Thursday night show, I did mix in some new stuff, and I was like, oh my God, I'm back. Like, I'm better. And then Friday and Saturday, I think Saturday, I was Googling, what kind of jobs can you get if you tried to make it as a comedian and didn't work out? Doing one of those. How do you get a food truck? That type of stuff.
Oh my God.
You'll be fine, though. You'll be more than fine.
Isn't it crazy that it doesn't matter how long you're doing, when you bomb, the feeling is the same. Maybe now it's worse because you know that you can do good, so maybe it's your problem. You learn how to do it. At first, you're like, I didn't know, I'm just learning. But
and
now
all the risk people are taking to go see you, and you're risking yourself.
Exactly.
You're like, oh fuck,
Does anyone else have the issue of being convinced they have 10 minutes less material than whatever time they're asked to do on stage?
Yeah.
I've done shows where it's you got to do 50 tonight. I'm like, oh my God, I only have 40. And the next night I'm only doing 30. I'm like, I have 12. And
all the time. Yeah. Every day.
Always. Why is that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard,
to go to the
especially
sensei therapist.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
part of these Zoom shows too, I just go so fast. When I do these virtual spots, I just run through everything so fast, and I'm like, all right, that's it. And then still I have half the time left, and you can't do much crowd work in a Zoom show.
Yeah.
What's the longest Zoom show you've done? Have you done a longer set on them?
I've done an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, it sucks.
Wow.
Do you listen to do you listen to the people laughing, or just silence, mute?
So it was a college show, and sometimes they don't set it up where you can hear or see other people. So I'm just doing a shit. I might as well just send them a link to a YouTube video.
Yeah, that's
awful.
what I'm thinking. What's the difference between you performing and people actually watching you with an audience, so they know when to laugh and they kind of feel they know the timing, they understand the jokes, because your relationship with the audience helps the show. So if you don't have that, it's kind of crazy. It looks more like a lecture.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. How not to do comedy.
Right. That's like a tough mental exercise. When I did it where there was no sound or sight, it was maybe 10 minutes, and it was a benefit too, and it was like that you're like digging in deep. I was for that 10 minutes. So I'm very impressed you did an hour like that. That's
It wasn't good, but thank you. It was like, and I couldn't hear or see anybody, but I still blamed the bad show on the audience being terrible.
Some other comics on the show I did that one with were like kind of bailed on it. Like they were like, 2 minutes in, they'd be like, I can't see or hear you guys. This is crazy. And I was debating, like, should I do this? And then I was like, and then I just and it was like, it didn't feel like healthy.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's eating shit, when they do these shows. Everyone is. And I think the audience is just happy to have entertainment, whether you're doing a live outdoor rooftop comedy show or a virtual show. I think there's a little bit more leeway. You can suck for a little bit longer than you usually.
And you were getting paid. Doing a college show for an hour, that makes a big difference. Because then there's a reason you're not just like doing it to torture yourself with that.
Right. But even though I'm getting paid, the rate's still cut in half, and it's still it's still miserable. Like it's much more work because I'm dying out there for an hour than it would be if I was doing a live show. I'd rather it be I get paid more to do these terrible Zoom shows than a live show. But I'm just happy for the work, to be honest.
Right.
But I still think the worst thing that I have been seeing the last few days is the driving shows. Doing comedy for cars is the saddest thing ever.
I think they mic the people in the cars, don't they?
They have
they honk or something.
Yeah, they honk. And if clapping is honking and fucking laughing is blinking. It's sad. I think people listen to the show through radio. They have some kind of a frequency that you can listen to the show, I think.
Yeah.
There's the future.
Like some big shows too. I know Gaffigan did one. I think Bert Kreischer did like a big one. I mean, some big
Brian
ones
Regan
going down. Yeah.
I think music works well in drive-ins because musicians, they don't care. They play with them. They play with their friends in the studio, so it doesn't bother them. They have a relationship with the guitar player, the bass player. It's okay for them. But for us, we need a reaction. That's sad.
Rafi, what is the deal down there right now in Brazil? Is anything open? Like in New York, we can't still eat in restaurants. We can't do.
You can't. No, we can. We can here. We opened like a month ago. You can go to restaurants. They were open for like 6 hours a day, but now they are open lunch and dinner. It's not that strict here.
Well, how about performances though? Music?
No. There's no theater. Theaters are closing. Clubs are closing. Some bars are closing too because you need some people you cannot have social distancing in bars. It looks weird.
Right.
People don't go out in bars right now. People are going to restaurants. But I think I agree with Marcus saying it's more like they are happy. People are happy to be out. It's more like celebration than it is actually going out to have fun. It's more like people are trying to help businesses, and I think that's more of this. I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Michael, are you and Kate doing any wedding planning during the quarantine?
I mean, we're trying. It's we got, for anyone listening, we got engaged a couple of weeks ago.
Ooh!
Congratulations!
Yes, absolutely.
That's exciting.
As I like to say, I think I was just out of ideas, trying to keep things fresh here, so I proposed. But yeah, man, it's been very difficult because we're both pretty much on the same page that we don't want like a socially distanced, mask wearing wedding, and so what do you do? Like look to probably next fall, but there's really no firm plans because it's just like
which is nice though. You have more time. That to me is very attractive. I want more time.
Yes.
Time. Are you married, Rafi?
Well, no.
That's how I feel. That same boat. That is my same response too.
No, she wanted Emma. She wanted so bad, and it's the first time I have someone that really wants to get married.
Right.
I'm divorced. I was divorced. I was married for 13 years.
Wow.
And my ex-wife, she left me because she joined a cult.
What?
Yeah,
this is the sitcom, Emma.
Is she still in the cult?
Yeah, she is.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she doesn't live with those people, but
and they didn't like you, or you just were like, I can't be in the cult.
They can't. The thing is, it's crazy.
Right.
It's impossible to have a relationship with a person that is inside a cult if you're not in the cult.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
Right.
It's like
every
dating a
relationship. Yeah, in a comedian, because you're sarcastic and ironic, and when you're in a religious cult, you kind of lose your sense of humor. That's what killed the marriage a little bit, also, because it's no. If you now you're just this, you have this light on you, and you respect everything, and you love everyone. It's very difficult to create comedy when you love everyone. It's not that easy.
If that's what they believe, they loved everybody?
Yeah, the thing is, Emma, I was married with a woman, and all of a sudden she decided that now she loves everybody the same.
Huh.
And you don't want to be in a relationship with a person that loves everyone like she loves you.
Yeah.
You want to be special. You want to be someone, Right. And I don't want to be treated as the fucking the janitor.
Right.
And so I could
she doesn't. I'm so fascinated by this. She doesn't live on the commune. She doesn't. So it's not the.
And she's still in the cult. She does, and she's not like, I fucked up.
No. It's when you. Of course she does, because the thing is, when you live in big cities, like São Paulo is a huge city, you have like 15 million people. It's the same as in New York. It's not that easy to have like friendship and relationships. So if you have a place where you feel loved and people hug you and give you a kiss, which is something that people don't do in big cities, you feel that now you're being treated as a special person. You feel special. You feel loved, and sometimes those people share ideas with her that I don't share. So it's difficult. It was difficult.
Do they all have sex with each other?
I don't think they do, Emma. The thing is, how do you call?
It's hard not to ask inappropriate questions that when someone says they're. I know that I wouldn't have normally asked that if you said you're divorced, but for some reason,
it was my concern also that she was having sex with other people. I think she wanted at one point to have sex with other people, to have an open relationship, which maybe that would be something that I could think of, but she wouldn't be having sex just for pleasure. Like, when you're in a relationship, you want to have sex with people to kind of you just want to come. That's what you want with other people. And you want to love that person. That's what open relationship is. But when you love everybody the same, it's dangerous. Because you couldn't
imagine.
Yeah. So my mother, how do I say her mother-in-law? That's what you say. Okay. My mother-in-law, which is her mother, she was in a cult as well. And she left the cult. So she gave me a lot of inside information. Like, that was not about sex, and that I could be comfortable with it. And if she never cheated on me or anything like that. But the thing is, when someone cheats, it's easier to solve the problem.
Oh, sure.
It was a mistake.
Right.
I felt attracted to this person. But when you change your mentality and you change your whole person, you're not the same person anymore. Then it's fucked up.
Oh, big time. I mean, a cult is like an extreme change of worldview. Like
it is
kind of.
You look at that person, you don't recognize, you don't laugh at the same things, and that was difficult.
Does she know that she's in a cult? Does she is she self-aware enough to know, like, I don't think she. I don't think, Marcus, after a while, I don't think she cares.
So they don't call themselves. They don't. That's a good point, because sometimes they'll do that. Like, I don't know anything about it, so I don't mean to be offensive with it. But that Landmark forum.
Yeah, same here.
So I know people will say, "Oh, that's a cult," but then maybe they're saying,
You can be as offensive as you want. Don't worry. I made all the jokes already. Don't worry. It's all good. Don't even bother.
Because is a cult a dirty word if you're in a cult? Like, is that something we'll say, like, oh, they're in a cult?
They
like,
would
we're not in a cult.
never call it a cult.
Okay.
They would never call it a cult.
That's not part of the marketing.
Cult is a very demeaning word for them.
Community.
They would never accept that. Oh, I'm in a cult. I'm being manipulated. No. I don't think that would happen.
Right.
They treat it as self-knowledge classes. So they create this environment of like an university. But it's not an university.
I love that type of classes.
You know, they treat as classes. So you have courses courses that you do and levels of like developing, and after a while you become mentor of other people. It's the same structure as a church, but they don't call themselves a church. They are paying. But the thing is, the two things that people think about when you talk about a cult. First thing, they are stealing your money. Second thing, they are having sex with each other. I don't think that thing is about money. I think it's more about power, which is much worse. And they don't care. They are not having the sex thing. So if everybody thinks about those two things and you kind of eliminate those two things, it looks like it's not a cult.
Sure.
But it is.
You painted I can totally picture that.
You know, that's the two things that people are concerned when someone close to you is in a cult. But the thing is, I have a son with her. So that's my concern now. I don't think I ask her not to bring him to the cult, because I don't want him to drink the juice. If one day they get all, of course, one day they can get, I don't know, one day they get crazy, and the world is ending because of the pandemic, and then my son is gone.
Right.
I don't know.
Exactly.
That's not gonna happen.
And they're sneaky.
Like
Scientology, they'll be like, oh, do an IQ test.
Stress test, right?
Stress test.
The thing is, there's a process when I don't know if it's very interesting, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Please.
When you go in a cult, you feel bad you feel very good at first, because you're not concerned about the little things anymore, small problems.
You have a purpose.
You change your purpose. You know, so you feel really, really good at first. Of course, after a while, you feel kind of stuck. And she felt stuck. And she said to me a lot of times, I don't know why I feel obligated to go every Wednesday and Thursday and I don't know when. And I told her, that's, you got to think about it, because you're being manipulated.
Right.
They make you feel guilty when you don't go.
Sure, so and then you have to go. Sometimes they make you kill people. I just watched the Charles Manson documentary.
They do, but they do. Mm-hmm. I don't know, Emma, how far those things can go. They all have a leader, like this one person, and they say, no, it's not about that person, but the person is always present. The person is always there. So
they give the message.
Yeah, they give the message. They trust that guy. And then you can see the videos that they post online. But the thing with the cult, which is the saddest thing, is that they kind of kill, I don't know how you say this word, but your connection with the people close to you.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when you say love everybody the same, you don't have that much love to share. Mm-hmm. So if you're sharing that love with everyone, it means that if there's 3 kids that's going to be hit by a car, it's your obligation to save those 3 motherfuckers.
Right.
That was not something that I would do. Could care less about those 2 other kids. I would save my kid first, and there's some time left, I would save the other ones. But when you learn that you have to respect and everybody is the same, it's kind of dangerous. That's how I feel. First, because you think that you're just going to have problems if you attract them, which is crazy. And that's not how life works.
Like The Secret,
but they
where
make
they're
you
like,
believe
if you think
that. They make you believe that. Even if your plane crashes, that's something in you that wants you to be there. So it's crazy. You lose. I lost her. Unfortunately, I lost her. We still have a very good relationship, but that was insane.
Yeah, that's tough.
That
It
is
was.
hard, yeah. How old is your kid, Rafi? How is the boy?
My kid is 9 years old.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Yeah.
so
does your kid know that mom's in a cult?
My kid, his Instagram bio says that his mother is a religious person. That's
Oh, okay. Well, that's a nice way of putting it. I guess that's true.
You're getting in there
And
trying
she-
to edit it yourself.
Yes.
Cult, delete, religious, cult.
I did. I took out the religious thing, and he asked me, "Why you took out the religious thing?" And I was like, "Because your mother is not a religious person. She's no, she is." And she said, "No, I am." I was like, "Okay, fine."
Right.
It's okay. But it's it's all. The thing is, I just want to bring the mood up in this chat.
So,
that's what I want.
I wonder how they process Corona in the cult. Do they all think they all wished for it, or are they stumped?
I don't think they are doing they are doing all through Zoom right now.
Right.
That's what I don't think they would be that crazy. I don't think they'll.
But I wonder if they think that they willed it into existence because it's like something that's happening to them too. Or
probably they think that the humans created this thing for a purpose, and they religious people they all have it.
Told us it's the Asians.
Yes,
right.
I didn't say that. I never said anything like that.
Oh.
So Rafi, after all that, I can't believe you're not rushing back into marriage, huh?
Yeah, right.
Taking
your time with the new lady.
Oh, my girlfriend now is into yoga, and I'm already concerned.
It's a bit of a cult itself.
Yeah. Any self-help exercise. No.
Right.
That's it.
Run away.
It all starts with a self-help exercise and become this whole thing about God. And
if she downloads the Calm app, careful, man.
Yes.
It's all over.
Man, God is he always shows up. I don't know how, but he always shows up.
Well, how about you, Marcus? You have been living with your wife. You guys are used to traveling together for a long time, and the pandemic has put you two together at home now. How's that going?
Oh, it's great. I really like my wife, so it's really nice. I enjoy her company. And now that she has a job, she works from, she had a job already, but now that she got a job for COVID, because we were originally, like you said, touring together, she has I only see her when she's not really working. Because I don't go into her office and bother her during the day. So it's nice. I like it. I like it very much. It's cool. Like there are times that we get at it, but it's me being an idiot most of the time. I don't sleep. I get crabby and whatever it is.
Now,
I need to perform,
Well, that's we've talked about that too. Like being with a performer and being with someone who's not a performer. And there's you and I were talking about how we write at night a lot and weekends we perform, and it's strange when you're with somebody who's on opposite hours.
I take my phone out at 3 a.m, write a note in there, and I might look like I'm being sneaky, but really it's just I don't want to forget what I'm thinking about. Then I look, in the morning at what I wrote. I just wrote Payless Shoes versus McDonald's, and it's nothing good. It's just the dumbest.
But I had to write it. I had to get that down.
Doesn't that happen to you? You're like, oh, I'll remember this in the morning. I'll remember it so good. I'll remember it in the morning. And that never happens. So you just train yourself to write anything down you think of, because this is the next bit that's gonna take you places.
Right.
And it doesn't make sense. Nothing ever does.
No,
that's good that you're enjoying each other's company.
Sometimes
it's nice.
Sometimes it doesn't make sense, and the saddest thing is that when it makes sense and there's no funny at all, you're like, why was I
right? If I could do a show with just material I've written in notes at 2 a.m, it would be the worst. it would be the funniest show, but it wouldn't make any sense. So do
you guys share your jokes with your wives?
Sometimes
wake them up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I have an idea. What do you think? No, okay.
Not at 4 o'clock in the morning. But sometimes I'll run stuff by. But my girlfriend's such a harsh critic that if I tell her an idea and it's not developed, she's cuts it off pretty quick. Which I don't.
Same.
She's a makeup artist. I don't know where this is coming from. But I've been with other people that will talk it. They'll be like, "Oh, do you mean this or that?" She'll do that with other stuff, but with jokes, she's she's brutal. She's like,
Yeah.
heard it before, saw like just. So then it like
Entire
stunts my growth
premise.
of it. So I won't even want to share it because I'm like, I need to explore it before I get on her chopping block, you know.
It's just like she's like going to the club. You got to make sure it's good enough to put on stage before you
She's
do it.
brutal. Do you do that? Do you share it with your girlfriend?
I do personally, same exact experience too. Like it's fairly harsh and it's fairly she comes after. She's like, it's not funny.
Right.
And I was like, yeah. It's like, sometimes she'll hear me working on stuff in the other room and just yell in. It's not fun. Like I wasn't even talking to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not fun. It's like living with a heckler.
Or I was like, well, but does it make sense? Is it interesting? She goes, but it wouldn't matter because it'll never be funny. I'm like, God damn, like that's not even how that works. I was like, I just wanted to see if this rings true to you, and she was like, but never in a funny way. I'm like,
You
I
ever
don't want to
reverse
work in
it?
it.
Emma, do you ever reverse it where she's like ready to go out and you're like, oh, that eyeliner though?
No, and I'd be scared to start, but maybe that would be. Oof, I'd be, and then I'd be like,
Commenting on their work.
someone told me to do it, but maybe I'll try it.
Yeah.
Mix it up.
But
Yeah,
at least you don't have a woman saying, "Could you put some God into this joke?" So it's,
Oh,
That's a whole other. Yeah, you're gonna trump anything anytime with that for sure.
absolutely.
it's okay. My girl now, she's amazing. You actually met her.
Yeah,
remember,
and your
Emma,
son, they
yeah.
love he was so sweet with the dog.
No, she's awesome, and she speaks English, so she actually puts on paper everything that I wanted to say, so
That's
she helps
great.
me a lot with them. Yeah.
That's huge.
Emma, where in the city are you?
So I just came in. I'm on First Ave and 21st. I've got a little studio here.
Oh, nice.
And it was
That's
easy
great.
it was always easy to rent out before, and like that was like a good thing. And then when Corona happened, it just became a total headache. And
So when you would go on the road for do club dates, you would rent out your place?
I would, yeah.
That's great.
And it was always like really easy. You know, every now and then you'll get something that there was like one time that it was a real pain, but then the entire like, oh, this is great. It's so easy. What an easy way to, that all crashed when all of a sudden because it's like I'm renting. I don't own it. So then you're on the hook for this money. You're never, it's like a whole, so I don't want to get it was irresponsible of me to like have myself in that situation. So I don't want to get myself in that situation again. Because I was living in LA, like, and I don't need. I'm renting and then re-renting an apartment. Like it's too much. It was too much.
Yeah, I had this stress once too. I was doing I had a place in LA. I was subletting another, and I had a place here. Just like the confluence of three. I had like 3 places in 1 month I was technically responsible for.
Yeah.
I was like, who am I? You know, like a landlord here. I have $9 in my bank account.
Yep.
Your apartment in Greenwich Village was amazing, though. Like that, your apartment.
My old apartment, yeah. I love
Your
that
old
place.
apartment was great location.
It was an incredible
I wouldn't give that
location.
up either.
The bathroom was in the hallway, but it was not in
best.
the apartment. But man, it was a great location. I missed it.
It was awesome.
Oh no, I love it here, baby. I love it here. Sorry.
How'd you propose?
I proposed here in the apartment. Yeah, I had.
Nice.
Do you have a photo of the proposal you can show?
Yeah, but that would be way too fancy. I don't know how to do that with all this.
Oh, and you don't have one printed up. Okay, I thought maybe.
No,
So-
yeah, it's our wallpaper. No, I was.
So you proposed in the apartment, Michael?
Yeah, we couldn't go out. We weren't allowed to go anywhere, and so so I told her that I was doing something like this, a Zoom thing, and I told her she had to wait in the bedroom, and I was just out here like trying to set up candles and do all this stuff.
Oh, that's
and,
cute.
Yeah, I did my best, and then she came out. And she's like, "I figured," and I was like, "Oh."
Oh my God!
Were you going over when you were setting up? I would just like to think to myself that you were doing your act out loud as if people were watching. Were you doing that?
I was running because I had planned what I was going to say, and it was harder than remembering. And it was only like 90 seconds long. It was harder than remembering any joke that I ever wrote. It felt like right before you do like a TV spot or something, like something important. You're like, I can't remember it. How does it go? And I just could not get it in order, and I was sweating. And then the big mistake I made is I bought a bunch of candles. I was going to cover the whole floor with them, and I didn't factor in bending down that many times before I had to finally. So my knees were shot before I even got to get down to propose. And
Were you on your knee when you proposed? Did you do the whole proposal on the knee or just the end?
I got down. No, I got down right away, and then I had a little trouble getting back up.
Yeah. Yeah, 90 seconds on a knee. I mean, that's a lot.
It was. I learned.
You know, I would just
yeah.
drop at the end, like as like the closer.
Next time I do it, no question.
Yeah.
That is gonna.
That's
But yeah.
funny, Michael. That's some good joke for you. 9 seconds
Yeah.
on your knee.
Yeah.
It's a little. You don't think about it when you think about proposing. Like, how long am I gonna be on my knee?
Right.
Yeah. Like
Yeah, you're cutting what you're gonna say in your head to save time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To save time.
You got that 90 down to 10
You're
seconds. I'm good. I'm
editing.
good.
Your
When I first met
editing.
you, Kate, you were everything I've ever
Yeah.
wanted. Will you marry me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please decide.
And then you're sending your material to Emma's girlfriend to know if it's good or not.
Butcher it. Chop it up.
I don't know. We'll see. Well, that brings us unbelievably to the end of our hour here. We're going to go around. I want you guys to promote whatever you possibly can promote, whatever you're doing, whatever you're up to. Emma, we'll start with you.
Okay, this is something I just started doing that I do recommend because I was looking at taking some classes, and it gets expensive quick. This is just like truly I've discovered it. I'm not like it's not an ad, but this program's Skillshare, and then you can take like there's like editing and there's a lot of stuff for video editing, and there's all kinds of classes on that, which has been really good. And I think they do have some acting workshops on there, so that I've been doing that. But for promoting, I have a podcast called Emma's Bunker, and that's on iTunes.
Very cool. Emma's Bunker on iTunes. All right.
Yeah.
Rafi, how do we?
I would suggest people to follow me on Instagram at Rafi Comedy, RAFI Comedy. So thank you guys. That was awesome.
Of course. And Marcus Monroe.
Yeah, I guess you could. I have some college dates coming up. I guess just go to my Instagram, or I'll be on TikTok for the next couple of days.
You've been doing TikTok stuff, right? You're doing
Good for
well on
you.
there.
Yeah, why not? You know, it's something to do. I kind of started this quarantine trying to make content to fill that void of not performing live, and it's just kind of carried on, and it's been fun, I guess. I don't know. So I don't do any of like the dances. I'm not doing that stuff on TikTok. I'm just kind of making dumb videos, and people seem to like them. I mean, that makes it sound like I'm going viral. I'm not. People seem to appreciate it.
Right.
But it's something to do. I didn't mean to make it sound like that.
There is some funny
also,
stuff on TikTok.
Yeah, there is funny.
There really is. Yeah. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No,
Yeah.
and
what about you, Mr. Somerville?
I am just thrilled to see you guys. We've been doing this for way too long now virtually, and I can't wait to see all your faces at the club
For sure.
live in person. I'm doing the same. I Instagram Michael Somerville, trying to make videos and do the whole thing, but nothing's like the real thing in person. And I hope people don't forget that once we're finally out of this. You know?
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. It's amazing to see you all. This is the Comedy Cellar Nightly, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And
Great to see you
we'll
guys.
Stay safe, and we'll
Great
see
to
you